let's move on to the next one. This one, along similar lines, we have a question in from Pierce, who writes, I have come from a libertarian standpoint, but have gravitated to a more radical anarchist state of mind. Yet the more I peel the onion, it seems as if the state is being controlled by a group of super wealthy globalists. When you hear a lot of anarchists talk about the dangers of the state, they seem to forget that the CFR and entities like that have more power and influence than the government. Or perhaps they are the government. I was hoping you could speak to this, and perhaps more broadly to the notion that there is in fact a state within the state. Thank you very much for this question, Pierce. This is a question that a lot of people have. I think this is one of the underlying issues that a lot of people have with anarchy. It's the idea, well, we need this state to protect us from the shadow government, the CFRs and what have you, which I think is the exact opposite of the actual nature of the problem. Because when we look at something like the CFR, of course it exists, and the Council on Foreign Relations and groups like that wield the real political power from behind the scenes, precisely because they are behind the scenes and out of public spotlight, and thus can do their machinations and influence the policy of the government. But it is precisely that mechanism by which they achieve their power. They have to influence the machinery of the government. They have to take over the foreign policy agenda of the United States, for example, in the CFR's case, or they have to steer the country into war in the case of the military-industrial complex. But in an anarchist society where there is no state, there is no government, there is no one with a gun and the authority to use that gun to come to your door and say, give me half your money or I'll lock you in a cage. When that is taken out of the equation, the only thing that the oligarchy can do is individually try to get each and every single individual to go along with what they're doing through whatever force or coercion might be involved there. But again, they cannot possibly function on an individual level like that. The only way that this authority can function is if every single person believes that make-believes that there is this government that has this authority to direct your life and to tell you what to do. And because we assign it that authority, no one thinks to revolt against that fundamental lie, that lie of this group of special people with special hats and badges who can tell you what to do and can do things that you personally can't do. It's a ridiculous situation on its face, but it only works because we believe in the myth of government. So yes, there is this shadow government entities like the CFR and Bilderberg and what have you that do wield the power from behind the scenes, but the power that they wield is precisely the big stick of government. So making more government to try to control the people who are trying to control government doesn't make sense from any level. The point is to remove the big stick of government. And from that point, then it's a question of them having to try to control each and every single individual on the planet individually, which is a ridiculous state of affairs and untenable. So that is the short answer, and there's a lot to say there, so we'll continue to come back to that point again and again in the future, I have no doubt.